right, good morning, everybody. Freedom Team, it's good to see you guys. Hope you're all doing well. If you are a guest with us, welcome. You're always welcome. Every Tuesday, same time, same Zoom link. We are here. Um, really valuable stuff every week. Great stuff every week. Good discussion. Again, we appreciate you being here. Again, if you can, turn on your camera. If not, it's all good, whatever, but it helps for sure if you're able to do that. So, hopefully the production is starting to pick up. I think we're going to have a busy winter. I really do. I think there's been so much just kind of sitting back and waiting to see where things are going. So many people I talked to the last few weeks, just like the election stuff. We've definitely seen a pickup in our showings. My wife and I with our listings just in the last week, which has been great. I think we're going to see that continue on. I think 2025 really is going to be a big year. I'm excited about it. So anyway, we appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, grab your notebooks. This is going to be special today. So Kathy, why don't you introduce Julie and we will get started. So,
All right. Well, we are in for a treat today. So, Julie, she has been in the real estate industry for 25 years. She's been with EXP. For those of you that are with EXP, she's been with EXP for 7 years, and she ran the largest new agent training program in the country for 5 years before she went and launched her own coaching company, and then published a book called Success Faster on Fire Hot. And I think she'll mention that today in her training. She is a university, an EXP university faculty. As a matter of fact, last year she was a finalist for University Faculty of the Year. So we, like Jeff said, we are in for a treat today. Julie just is coming with a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of experience, and Julie, we are happy to have you, and thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Good to see everyone. And yes, cameras are great. And if that's possible for you, because it is really helpful to see the heads nodding and the thumbs up kind of thing. If y'all wouldn't mind, if you can, type into the chat where you're from and years in the business. I'd just like to see a little info on the room. I'm going to share my screen as well. Let me make that happen here real quick. Jeff, Colorado Springs. Okay, Presenter window. This. Okay. Kathy, what do you see it on your screen? Anything?
It says you started sharing, but it's not, I'm not seeing anything.
Yep. Let me reset this real quick. All right, here we go. I'm going to reshare. It's a Canva share, so sometimes give me just a sec. And now I need to present. Sorry, I'm doing a little clicking here. Present review, present full screen, present. Okay, how's that?
Perfect.
we're good.
All right, just takes a few clicks to get there. All right, so I want to run through, this is actually a presentation I'm doing tomorrow in Austin. So I'm in Austin, Texas, and I've been in the business for 25 years. My jam is helping and coaching and teaching and training agents. I am an active agent in Austin. So now you all have a connection in Austin, Texas. Everyone needs a real estate connection in Austin, Texas. So I'm actually demonstrating to you how to do a little lead generation. And that is when you're in front of a room of other agents that are not in your city, you're promoting yourself and your services. So see what I just did? So today we're going to go through 5 key principles to help you reset your business. Now, I don't care if you're in your second year in the business or you're in your 22nd year in the business. So tell me if this resonates with you. I've been in the business 25 years, and the number of times I've really reset my business, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Sometimes the reset is the market. Sometimes the reset is just psychological. Sometimes the reset is maybe you move your business to another city, or the reset is you joined a team, or the reset is you left a team, or the reset is that you had some maybe some family health issues going on and you took a step back from your business, but the reset was the coming back in. Is some of this resonating with you? There's my friend Jason. Good to see you, my friend. I didn't know you were going to be on here today. So, so this topic, again, this topic and these principles I'm going to outline here real quick for a first-year agent, a fifth-year agent, a 25th-year agent. I promise you these are applicable um, principles. I did want to mention my book. So this is a book that I published after I left my director of training position in the largest real estate office in the country. I was a little frustrated for the industry because I felt like so many agents were just running a squirrel farm and all over the place as far as managing their business. So, so I wrote this book. Actually, this is the second, really the second edition of it, because I rewrote the book a couple years later, and this is helping a lot of agents around the country. You're going to see this slide 2 times during my presentation, because I'm reminding you that you now personally know a realtor in Austin, Texas. So 5 strategies that can help you shift immediately. And here's what they are. So starting over, a top agent theory, your job description. I'm going to talk about you being the national sales manager of your business. I'm going to talk about something that's called your DOR, your daily operational rhythm. Okay. So starting over, I want you guys to think of this concept. Now, what's interesting with this concept is this can apply to your business. This can apply to working out. This can apply to your diet. This can apply to your relationships. This concept of, you know what, right now, if things are not working at a really high level or an efficient level, or I'm too stressed, or I'm just not happy enough with this or this or this. Now, today it's about your business, but think about this principle. One of the greatest life hacks, I think, is giving yourself permission to simply start over. So with this concept, I want you to think of, like, if you were to restart your business with everything that you know today. Now, this is what I did when I left my director position. So I was on staff for 5 years. And when I left that position, I needed to restart my business. And so I took a step back and I thought, well, wait a minute. I'm starting my business over. Now that I know everything that I know about this industry, what would I do differently? What can I do differently? What do I like best? What do I enjoy? So think about that. So sometimes the best thing you can do in your business, kind of take that one step back and say, wait a minute. If I was training someone new in the industry and I wanted to give them the best of what I have learned over the years, what would that be? And so you're giving yourself that permission to do that review, do that analysis, less overcomplicating of your business. I think most of us would agree that that would be something on the list. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to try to be everything to everyone. I want to run an easier business. I want to run a more efficient business. So you think about that. So do that review of what would that look like? So what would I do differently? What are the business principles that you know that they work? Now, whether you've been doing them consistently is one thing, but the fact that it's like, look, here are the success principles of the industry. We've all heard them, but am I actually practicing them? And then this last comment on this slide is, how disciplined am I with the execution of those principles, those success principles? So there's there's two pieces. It's like, yes, I know the success principles, but am I disciplined enough and consistent enough to apply them to my own business? I want you to think about every one of us. Have you all had a job before where you worked for somebody else? Yes. And most of us drove to an office and we had a desk or a cubicle at a job, right? And we worked for someone else. Almost everyone has done that. Occasionally, there's someone who has worked for themselves their entire lives, but most of us in this Hollywood Square room here have done that. So when we were an employee and had a job, we understood our job, we showed up to work on time, we were really responsible for our personal time off and our vacation planning. If we needed to get the dog to the vet or ourselves to the doctor or a child to a special school program, we figured those things out because we had a job, right? Um, and we always, with that job, we wanted to make sure that we got the most important things done because we wanted a good review. We wanted a chance at a raise. We wanted a chance at a promotion. Okay. So we knew we grew up in an environment and a culture where we knew what it looked like to be a good employee, right? I mean, it's almost second nature. It's like, well, yeah, of course you show up to work on time. Of course you're consistent. Of course I got the most important things done every day, right? We just did those things. Now look at your own business. Now it's your business. Now you are the boss. And I'd like to ask you this question. Are you treating your business with as much respect and discipline as you treated that other business that was someone else's business? Are you treating your business with the same respect and standards as you used to do with somebody else? Let that sink in for a minute. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm a little too loosey goosey with my own business. I know what it looks like when I'm really respectful of someone's business standards and expectations. Let me dial that in a little bit with my own business. Is this resonating with y'all at all? Can I have some nods? Okay. So this is part of this starting over and like, who am I in my own business? How am I running my own business? And is there room for a level up there? And for most of us, there's room, right? I have room for this concept. Okay, let's keep going. So, strategy number 2 is what I call my top agent theory. So, I've developed this theory, or really just kind of this observation of top agents in the industry. And the observation is that the wealthiest realtors in this business, they are not more talented than you are. They're not better looking than you are. They're not more entertaining than you are. They're not smarter than you are. There's one thing that the top agents are consistently doing better than everyone else, and it's this: they're simply more disciplined and consistent with doing the work of what it takes to succeed in this business, doing the work of what it takes to really build a solid and reliable pipeline. The top agents have totally prioritized this in their business. Now, this is that pipeline stuff, the lead generation stuff. Guys, it's not the sexiest part of the business, but there's kind of the sexy part of the business, and there's what I like to call the job, the job part of the business. Too many agents lean on the sexy and they maybe get the job done. Is this resonating? The top agents have completely solidified the job. It's like, look, I'm going to have the best life, the best cash flow, the best vacations, and the least amount of stress and anxiety if I run and manage a decent pipeline consistently, day after day after day. So take a little inventory of, and let's just oversimplify it, the sexy part of the business and the job part of the business. What are you leading with? Now, the sexy part is, well, it's all the fun stuff. It's the marketing, it's the looking at properties, it's the actual appointments, it's some strategy stuff. If you're a detailed person, the sexy part might involve some spreadsheets and number crunching. That's not sexy for everyone, but for there's probably a few people on this call that actually falls into the sexy category. But it's like, are you leading with the sexy, or are you leading with really driving and managing a decent pipeline? For some of you on this call, and possibly arguably half of you on this call, this adjustment alone will get you on a better track for the next year. And you can start today. So it's the sexy versus the job. It's simply, now here's the beauty of our business. This job, this job part, it's not 8 hours a day. It's typically not even 4 hours a day. It literally can be a disciplined 2 hours of every day. And I like to simplify this a little bit because I like building a lot of grace and forgiveness into our schedules and into our business lives. I like to say 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, 3 weeks out of the month. Let me say that again. 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, 3 weeks out of the month of solid discipline, of mastering your income producing activities, of driving and feeding and nurturing your pipeline. Now, most of your friends who who drive to an office, to a job, would be probably a little jealous that literally you can nail the most important thing in your business 8 hours a week. That's 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, 3 weeks out of the month. The reason why I say the 2, 4, 3 is that when a week goes to hell in a handbasket, we just keep going because we've built it in. There are days when a transaction blows up and that's all you do all day is babysit that, manage that, right? Or there's days when there's family stuff going on that it messes with your schedule. And this 3 weeks out of the month, I think it allows us to not beat ourselves up if we're prone to running a squirrel farm. Who are my shiny object people in the room? Yeah. Who are my two-hand shiny object people in the room? It's a problem for me. Okay. But every single one of us can do that 2 hours a day thing, because the rest of the day, you can chase all the shiny objects you want. You've just got 2 hours a day where that's not allowed. If you are extreme shiny object, like it's a real issue, you take this 2 hours and you break it up into 20-minute segments, 20, 20, 20, and then go take a break, go walk around the block and come back and do 20, 20, 20. And guess what? You just did 2 hours. So there are ways to work around your shiny object tendencies. Now, strategy number 3 is your job description. So I want to remind you of the shortest job description in real estate. Now, if I were to turn my camera around, which I'm not going to do, but I could show you my monitor here on my desk. has numerous sticky notes stuck on it. Okay. Now I really like the extra sticky notes. Okay. You know, they make the extra sticky ones, right? But there's 2 sticky notes on here that I think can be valuable for you all. Now, if you're sitting at your desk right now, grab a sticky note and I want you to write this down. You're going to write down your shortest job description in real estate. When I remember when I left my position as the director of training and I was restarting my business, these 2 sticky notes drove my success that year. So I had set a goal. Now I had about 9.5 months left in the year. And I set a goal to do 10 million in sales by the end of the year. And I had about 800 accountability partners because everyone knew what I was doing. And if the director of training is going to relaunch their business, she better do it successfully, or all credibility was going to go out the window. So I was under pressure. So I used these sticky notes to anchor my day. So when I would sit down at my desk at 8 or 8:30 every morning, I I literally looked at this sticky note to drive my business. So your shortest job description in real estate is this. And write it down in the first person, not in the third person. Okay. I am in the business of having conversations with people about real estate. So this was one of my 2 sticky notes. I'm going to tell you what the other one is here in just a minute. I am in the business of having conversations with people about real estate. So like if I was training a brand new person in the industry or any person who was doing any kind of reset, this would be one of our foundational principles because it's like you're in the business of having conversations with people about real estate. So on every single day, you just simply ask yourself the question, how can I have some quality conversations today with people about real estate? And if that anchors your day and it anchors your pipeline building, you're going to be okay. So I'm in the business of having conversations with people about real estate. Now, the second sticky note that anchored my day, and I don't have this one on a screen, so I'm just going to tell it to you verbally. But if you're at your desk, grab a sticky note and write it down. But this was the second sticky note that anchored my relaunch. The sticky note said, and it had my name at the top of it. So it said Julie. So I'm talking to myself. So yours would not say Julie. It would say Brian or Doug or Rick or Ann. Okay. Said, what is my fastest route today? Like underline today. What is my fastest route today to a lead, client, contract, or paycheck? And then underneath that, I wrote all in bold and caps and underlined, do that thing first, exclamation point. I'm going to reread. I'll reread both of those to you. Your shortest job description, that's on the screen. I'm in the business of having conversations with people about real estate. The second sticky note, talk to yourself, put it in the first person, put your name, say, what is my fastest route today to a lead, client, contract, or paycheck? Do that thing first. Now, think back to when I was kind of telling the story of when you used to have a job and how you were really clear on how you needed to perform every day, right? Well, this is that what is my fastest route to a lead, client, contract, or paycheck? This is you working on getting a promotion and a pay raise in your own business. If you anchor this in your business. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to start my day working on my marketing program, working on my social media, crunching my numbers, doing all that operational stuff, dealing with clients. I'm not even those first couple hours of the day, I'm not even dealing with business. All I'm doing is generating it. Now, it's never perfect, the generating and the dealing. Some of you will generate all your business on the weekends or the evenings. Some of you will generate it between 8 and 10 a.m. Monday through Friday consistently. But the key is the consistency and the discipline around that. Now, an accountability partner or two can help a lot with this, with just kind of this building some muscle around the discipline and consistency. Okay, who likes the sticky notes? Is this a good, okay. All right, cool. Let's keep going. Now here's the math behind that job description. I'm in the business of having conversations with people about real estate. Now you could make this a sticky note on your desk too. I got sticky notes all over the place. But think about this basic math. The more conversations you have, the more money you're going to make. Period. So I would argue if I'm coaching an agent and I'm asking a whole bunch of questions about their business, and if they're not making enough money, I'm going to challenge them to double, triple, quadruple their conversations. Now, what's the inverse? This simple math formula that's on the screen right now, what's the inverse of that formula? Like if you turned the greater than sign around so that it said less than, the fewer conversations you have, the less money you're going to make. So you might say, well, damn, I don't think I'm not having enough conversations to meet my goal. I'm not having enough conversations to meet my goal. So guess what? You have two choices. This math formula is so simple. You have two choices. You can either lower your goal or you can increase your conversations. Now, arguably, you could improve the quality of those conversations, but that's another Zoom call. This is the quantity. Like, oh, wait a minute. So someone might have a $300,000 goal, but they're only having enough conversations to support a $100,000 income. Like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty simple. Well, it really is. So then we go through an exercise of, oh, well, how am I going to have more conversations and better conversations? But this needs to anchor. This is that 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, 3 weeks out of the month. Now, if someone is in a hole financially, I would increase those numbers. I wouldn't do 2 hours, 4 days, 3 weeks. I'd probably be doing 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks for a while to fix the situation. We all know that principle. I want to share something with you. This is just a graphic of a panel that I moderated at EXPCon a couple of weeks ago. Okay, it was called Extreme Open Houses, and these powerhouses on here, Adam in Seattle, Mary in Asheville, and Jemima in Delaware. These three agents absolutely drive the majority of their business through an open house, through their open houses. And the thing that numerous things, there's a reason why I'm showing it to you on this slide deck in the midst of this conversation, is that all three of these individuals have created a structure to support a tremendous number of quality real estate conversations. Does that make sense? Now, open house isn't everyone's jam, but just know for some people in the industry, it's the jam and they do it extremely well. One thing that's interesting about Adam here on the screen is he does 3 to 4 open houses a week, all in the same zip code. But his goal is simply to meet one person with each open house that they will have a follow-up call or appointment. He only wants rapport really with one person who walks in the door. And and he's not even he doesn't even care that much about the sign-in sheet. He's like, that's not important. If we connect, we're going to have another conversation. Okay. Jemima in Delaware has a small team, and she's very much big on the sign-in sheet. She's very much big on the signage for the open house. She's very much big on knocking on 40 doors for every open house. And they're very systems oriented, but all three of these people have created a situation in their business where it's very easy for them to have a significant number of quality conversations weekly with people about real estate. Now, the other part of that formula is this. In our business, the money's in the follow-up. We've all heard that, right? So we all need to be follow-up queen, follow-up king, whatever you want. I like the queen. So follow-up, follow-up, follow-up. So when we're talking about that, that pipeline, your healthy pipeline, and feeding it, part of the formula is nurturing it and following up. I think the person with the best follow-up game and consistent follow-up makes the most money, has more opportunities than the person who's not great with follow-up. Who here has experienced in their business, you're doing a bunch of research online, like with some past clients, and you see that they sold the house a year ago with someone else. Okay, I think everyone needs to raise their hand with that. It's happened to all of us. And when that happens, we take a step back and say, you know what? I could be much better with follow-up, much better with nurturing my database, nurturing that pipeline, follow-up, follow-up, follow-up. So check in on that in your business. Okay, now strategy number 4, national sales manager. So I want you to think of all the hats you wear in your business, okay? So everyone is the CEO of their business. You're the COO of your business. You're the CMO of your business. And you're the dishwasher, right? We're all of those things. Now, if you're on a team, you probably don't wear as many hats as a solo practitioner, but we all know all these hats that we wear. But I want to argue that this job title is the most important title of all the hats that you wear, is that you are the national sales manager of your real estate business. So I want you to think about what a national sales manager does. Okay, the national sales manager sets the goals for the team, creates an environment in systems and processes to help the team hit those goals, holds the team accountable to those goals, and hires and fires and promotes accordingly, and maybe issues bonuses accordingly, right? That's what a national sales manager does. So that's you in your business. You're setting the goal, you're creating the environment and the systems and the tools to support that goal, and then you're holding the team. And sometimes the team is just who? It's just me. I'm holding the team accountable to that goal. Now, if you're a solo practitioner, this is where an accountability partner can come in handy. And maybe there's someone on this Hollywood Square screen right now that is or could be your weekly accountability partner. These are maybe 15-minute calls where you're just holding yourself accountable to the numbers, to your pipeline, to your intentions, right? So your job as the national sales manager arguably is the most important. All right, I'm trying to move my screen. Come on, screen. There we go. Whoops. All right. Can you guys hear that? Can you hear what's going on behind the scenes? No. Okay. Well, good. Um, um, oh, shoot. What is his, what is it? Hold on. There we go. Sorry, there was extra sound going on in my ears. Simon Sinek. Um, I'm sure some of you have read some Simon. He has great podcasts, really, really good material for entrepreneurs, business professionals. But he talks about the concept of putting on your work clothes and going to work, that a ditch digger doesn't like reanalyze every day whether they want to dig the ditch or how they're going to dig the ditch. They just show up every day with their shovel and they dig the ditch. And they said, and Simon, he says that like one of the issues with entrepreneurs is that they're overcomplicating their business, because sometimes it's like, look, every day you have to pick up your shovel and dig that ditch because it's the most important part of your job. Now that ties into what you're seeing on the screen right now. So your daily operational rhythm, okay? And I call this your DOR, your daily operational rhythm. Now, I want to ask you this, and you can either like hold a number up or you can type it in the chat. But like on a scale from 1 to 10, how are you with getting the most important things done every day? Not the shiny objects. I'm talking it has to do with your pipeline. All right, I'm looking at the chat. I hadn't been, but now I am. There's a okay, Jason, I like that number. That's pretty solid. I'm seeing a 3, I'm seeing a 4. Yeah, so it's like, oh, wait a minute. Now, this goes back to my top agent theory. They're simply more disciplined and consistent with the basics. But again, it's 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, 3 weeks out of the month. Most of us, if we did 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, 3 weeks out of the month, that would be an increase. That would be an improvement from what we've done the last 30 or 60 days. Does that make sense? So the top agents, they're just more consistent with this. They don't overanalyze it. They've made peace with it. It's like, oh, it's my job. So I just show up every day and I do my job. It's not the most exciting part of this business, but it's the most important. The greatest, does this make sense to you? I think the greatest, yeah, Jason, just do it. Have a list of who you need to call. I think the greatest stress reducer in this business is simply a healthy pipeline. The greatest stress reducer. Some of you probably have a whiteboard in your office. Maybe you have a spreadsheet that you check in with every day. Maybe you're old school and you've got a notebook on your desk that's like your leads. That's fine. All of those work. There's one. Or 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 some of all of that, right? I have a whiteboard over here. I've got this. I think I've got a spreadsheet to back it all up as well. I don't care what you use. It's just the consistency of using it. But with this daily operational rhythm, one of the reasons why I love a whiteboard, so like when you're walking into your workspace, is you've got that visual right in front of you every day of how is the health of my lead pipeline? How is the health of my lead pipeline? I personally like a pipeline of 1 through 10. I mean, pick a number. I don't care what your number is, but 10, I think 10 is something that's really easy to hang your hat on. But in my solo business, So with a lead pipeline of 1 through 10, I can glance at that every day. And are there 4 or 5 on the list? Are there 6 or 7 on the list? Are there 10 on the list? And that helps me set my priorities. If there's, and of course you can rate them, it's like hot, warm, cold, right? So we're looking for the hot and the warm, right? But we still need to kind of nurture the colds. Anyways, you know the drill of how to deal with that. But I'm looking at that pipeline. And so for me specifically, if there's like 3, 4, or 5 solid on the list, I need to stop everything that I'm doing. And that's the only thing I'm going to work on this list, work on this week, because I need it more in the 7, 8, 9 range of my 10. I mean, 10's great, but I'm trying not to be a perfectionist. And if that's my litmus test, it's like a visual litmus test. Every day you walk into my office and I can see that. And it's like, I know exactly what I need to do today. Now, if the list is really solid, kind of the 7 to 10, I might spend 2 hours that day just really doing a bunch of follow-up. But if it's a 3, 4, 5, I'm going to be like, I think I need to lean more, a little harder on true lead generation. But this is part of that daily operational rhythm of knowing that pipeline literally is the health of my business. It's the greatest stress reducer, and it's the best cash predictor in this business. Has anybody been in a position in their business at a time or two where the cash was unpredictable, right? Yeah, of course. Of course. But the healthier that pipeline is, the less we freak out about knowing what our cash flow might be over the next 6 months. So if we can manage that pipeline better, then we're just going to be in a much better space in our business. Let's I want to pause for a minute. How is this resonating with y'all? You can turn your microphones on or you can chat, but I want to hear from a few people. What have you heard so far that you kind of needed to hear today? What you got? Anyone, just open your mic and talk to me.
So sorry I'm not on camera. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but it's part of my actual screen. So I'm
Okay,
sorry I'm not on there.
all
But
good.
yeah, I love it. And I've been contemplating. Yesterday I was like, oh, I need to make calls. And during the snow, I was like, oh, I need to make calls. And I am so, oh, look, shiny squirrel. Um, and just no, I don't want to do it. So this has really been beneficial just for the whole idea. And I love the job description. What is my job description? So I now have
Hmm.
sticky notes on my computer. What's the
Awesome.
fastest route to money making that I need to do today?
Yeah.
Just as a good reminder,
Yes.
because the weather and the snow, they were perfect times. And then I told myself yesterday that I was going to make calls because it was Veterans Day and a lot of people were home. And I sent out text messages via KV Core, and I sent out a video message, but I did not pick up the phone. And I have a problem picking up the phone with that follow up. So I really appreciate what you said today. It's really good reminder. I needed that today. Thank you.
Good. So the conversations. So yeah, at the end of the
Yeah,
day, the person who's having the conversations is the one who's going to get the opportunity. All those
right.
other things help create opportunity for a conversation, right? The text messages, the emails, the newsletters, but
But I
it's the
know
conversation.
I don't do business with people who don't call me, that they just send me a text message. Hey, this is your pampered chef lady, and we're having another party. I'm like, the only time people call me is when they want me to buy something, right? Or text me or invite me to some party is because they want me to buy something.
Yeah.
Um, and so I know my mind, I like a phone call. Hey, how you doing? How's things going? So,
Yeah.
um, I did pick a couple agents' brains yesterday on a listing I had. but I know that I need to do what I want done on my end to others in order to get them to
Yeah.
connect, you know. So I,
I'm
I, I get it. I just have
good.
to do it. So I
I'm going to
appreciate
give
it.
you guys a couple really easy ways to instantly increase your conversations and their quality conversations. Anybody else want to chime in with what you've heard so far?
Hey, Julie, I'm
Sonia.
Sonia. I'm from
Hey,
Cleveland,
Sonia.
Ohio. Um,
Hey,
Everything's resonating well with me. I just started taking the fast cap class. I'm in my third year of
excellent.
real estate, but I didn't
Okay.
know anything about that. And they're challenging us daily to do 5 calls, which sounds like, oh, that's not too many calls. Totally out of my comfort zone. I can hide behind the text all day, but when I have to pick up the phone and call somebody, I get nauseated. So, but
All
I'm
right.
doing it. I'm doing it
I'm going
because
to,
I'm also in a newer area. I moved to a new area a year ago, so um,
ah,
I've been having to meet new people and make new contacts. So,
yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
a
everything's
reset.
good that you're saying.
I'm going to give you an idea here in a minute where it'll make it easy to have 5 conversations a day. Okay. And being in a new area, that's totally a reset in your business, you know, and it happens. 800-pound phone. Okay. All right. Let's keep, oh, okay. So let, let me give you this one tip right now. And I think it might be later in my slides, but while it's on my mind, how every single one of you could have 5 quality conversations today. Okay. And it has to do with your vendor list. Okay. We all have one and we all need one. And stop borrowing other realtors' vendor lists, please, effective immediately. Okay. You only want vendors from people that you know. Now, okay, there's exceptions to that, but post something on Facebook, on a social, or on Insta that says, hey guys, I'm working on my vendor list this week. Here's what my vendor list is, blah, 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 blah. These are the 2 categories I'm looking for this week. Who do you know? If you were having work done at your house or at your mom's house, who would be on the list? And let people start commenting. Every single comment. Now, if you do this at a time of day when people tend to be on the socials, even better. Or if you do it on a holiday, or if you do it on a snow day, those are all better because there are more people hanging out on the socials. Every single comment on that post is a phone call. Now, if you don't have their phone number, you message them and all you say is, what's your cell phone? That's the script. What's your cell? They know exactly why you're asking. And you just pick them up and quiz them about the plumber that they're recommending. Hey, tell me more about that plumber. How do you know them? Have you used them? Blah, 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 blah. And remind them and say, look, I'm really particular who's on my vendor list because it's an extension of my reputation. So I'm not afraid to kick someone off of my vendor list. But I want it, and I don't want the cheapest people on my vendor list, but I want people that I would call or that I would call for mom's house, right? But those are such easy calls. And guess what? Next Tuesday, you can post the same post on the socials that says, hey guys, still working on my vendor list. This week's category is roofers and landscapers, blah, 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 blah. Who do you know? Literally, you could do this once a week between now and the end of the year. And the entire goal is engagement on the socials. And every single engagement is a phone call. Easy, easy, easy. If you see a friend post something on the socials that has anything to do with a repair or an upgrade they're doing on their house, get their cell phone and call them. Hey, tell me about that work you're doing in your kitchen. Oh, that's exciting. Cool. Who are you using? Would you recommend them? What's your experience? And with everyone, these are quality calls, conversations. At the end of these conversations, throw in a little lead gen question. Hey, while we're on the topic, are you guys thinking of doing anything with your real estate this year? Or who do you know who is that I should be talking with? That's all. Sometimes I say, hey, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you this question every now and then. But are you guys thinking of doing anything with your real estate this year? Or who do you know who may be talking about moving to Boulder this year? People are moving around, but you have to be asking those questions. But see how easy it is to tee that up? And it's just with your vendor list. If you do it enough and you do it consistently, people are going to remember, oh, Sonia's the person I need to call because she has a list. Now, rule number one with the list, never give out your entire list because it changes all the time. And the goal is for your phone to ring anytime someone needs something. This is an easy way. I think every single one of you on this call could have 5 solid conversations today with someone about a vendor that they like. And yes, people will recommend their brother and their cousin, and that's fine too. You're gonna quiz them as much as you would anybody else. Oh, it's your brother-in-law. Cool. How long has he been doing it? Da 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 da. Would you hire him to do work at mom's house? Right. All right, let's keep going. We've got about, what time is it? We've got about, oh, time is running out. Okay, so daily operational rhythm, we've been talking about that, building muscle around that. Anyone who's in the Fast Cap program at EXP, fantastic program. You don't have to be a new agent to go in it. They're experienced agents that are retaking it. But this, what you're seeing on the screen, this is exactly what Fast Cap is working on. It's a habit building program. And they'll tell you that. That's why they're working on helping you build the muscle around 5 conversations a day. Building the muscle around 5 conversations a day. You want to get to the point where if you did not have 5 conversations on a given day, that you feel itchy. It doesn't feel right. Something feels off. But when it comes to these habits, look at what it says on the screen. It's less about what you're doing and it's more about who you are being. Who are you being in your business? All right. Daily operational rhythm. There's old school and there's a cheat sheet and there's a calendar add-on. Old school is grab yourself a calendar and start tracking. Did I have my 5 conversations today? Now, I like the 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, 3 weeks out of the month, because you'll have a lot of grace. It's like, how many conversations did I have today about real estate? And you start tracking it. Or you could have like a red, yellow, green color code. Or you could have any day that you hit your goal, you could put a little smiley face sticker on it. I don't care. But like if I was your coach, I love this old school technique because I would say, show me your calendar. I want the visual and I want to see on your calendar. So what you've done so far this month, I want to see if you're making progress on building muscle around the core habit of conversations. Because this is the precursor to looking at your pipeline. So this is the old school way to build a habit. Whoops. Oh, I cut it. What did I say? Oh, the cheat sheet. Cheat sheet is you can find these online. It's like realtor income producing activity cheat sheet. And I'll have these columns. But it's like what you're doing, open houses, door knocks, you know, videos sent, da da da. But you can have your kind of tally of what did I do today that is income producing. Um, Also, and Kathy, I can send this to you. I created a Google Calendar add-on where you can actually add this overlay to your calendar, where literally it tells you what to do every day and every week.
That would be
And
fantastic.
yeah, and so what if you just followed that? Like, look, I'm going to get out of my own way and I'm going to let someone else simply tell me what to do every day, but I'm going to do that for a few months to build the muscle around the habits. I want better habits in my business. Okay, so there's the old school. So let's review real quick. Oh, I told you would see the screen again. You see what I'm doing here? I'm showing you what lead generation looks like. So now every one of you personally knows an agent in Austin, Texas. So let's review. More conversations equals more money. And maybe some of you already have a sticky note on your desk with that math formula. Doubling your conversations. Now, I told you I thought this was in my slide deck. So the vendor project, another thing that you can do is every single day do one CMA, and then call someone who lives in that area. And the script could be something like this. Hey, I have a new analysis software program I'm working with. And so I'm practicing it. And every day I'm running a report. And I just happened to run a report on your neighborhood or your zip code this morning. There's a couple really interesting things going on in your area. Do you have a second? I want to show this to you. Those are easy, quality real estate conversations. So every one of you, write a list of 20 people that you could easily do a quick CMA. Even if you know they're not, it's like, oh, they're never selling. It doesn't matter. They own a house. Run the CMA, pick up the phone and call them and say, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what's going on in your neighborhood right now. This is really interesting. You should see this trend. Okay, you could do that every day, easy. Here's the book. By the way, it's on Amazon. It's also Audible in Kindle, and it's paperback. And I have a Spanish version. So you can find it on Amazon. I know that Jason has it. I'm pretty sure I've given him a copy personally. And that is my last screen. So I want to open it up. Let me stop the screen share. I want to open it up to the room, see what your ahas or takeaways or any questions you may have. And I know we're at the top of the hour. But what you got?
One thing, Julie, I just want to, first of all, thank you very much. I mean, there's some great stuff there. I mean, the vendor stuff, to me, that's awesome. Those are easy conversations. I just want to emphasize that to people, you know. But I think one of the things that hit me, and I've said this before, like, you know, I'm my own boss. We're all our own bosses, you know. And as a boss, would I have fired myself today?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or would I have given myself a raise?
Yes.
Today? Would I give myself a promotion today? Like evaluate yourself on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Like, just how am I doing? If I was, because I am my own boss, you know, if I was an employee and I am an employee of myself, would I have fired myself? And it's something just to think about and to kind of, you know, measure yourself against a little bit, you know?
I love that concept. What if you asked yourself that question at the end of every day, like 4 o'clock, there could be a message that pops up on your phone. Let's call it Monday through Thursday. Because remember, I like to build the grace into your calendar. And that pop-up says, based on today, would I hire me? Now, if you do that at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the beauty of that is there's still time to correct it a little bit. Because if you look at that and say, based on today, I would absolutely not hire myself. But you're like, well, shoot, it's 3 o'clock. I'm going to make a few phone calls so I could at least feel a little better about answering that question, right? But if you're asking that question regularly, would I hire me? Would I fire me? And with your accountability partner, so let's say you have a weekly accountability partner, you just ask that question once a week. So I could, if Jeff was my accountability partner and we just got on the phone every Monday, I'd say, Jeff, hey, based on last week, would you hire you? Would you hire or fire on a scale from 1 to 10, right? And we're just having that conversation with each other every week.
Talking about getting into habits, I love doing it every day at, like you said, 3 o'clock, 3:30, and you have that time. Then if your answer to that is no, then you go to what your second sticky note is. Okay, then what is the fastest way? Then I can get a lead, a contract, you know, a client, you know, and a paycheck. It's like, what am I going to do right now? I've got 1.5 hour left, right? So what am I going to do that's going to get me there the fastest? And if you get in the habit of doing that every day, I mean, imagine what will happen to business.
Well, and you may find that you're more productive in that 3:30 to 4:30 window every day than any other time because you're like, oh, shoot. No, I wouldn't. For me, I would say shit, right? I would say, darn it. okay, I'm making a few phone calls because I want to feel a little better about myself running my business today. And I've got about an hour and a half to make that happen. I always like to ask myself the question, is there anyone I should have followed up with today or this week that for whatever reason I have not yet? And there usually is. It's like, oh gosh, that's right. And even the personal follow-ups, oh gosh, that's right. I wanted to follow up with Susan and see how her mother's doing, right? Those count too. Now with those, don't talk real estate. We're talking mom, right? Those are care calls. But a lot of times, like at 3:30, maybe you're asking yourself, hey, is there a care call or two I can make this afternoon? And usually there's someone that's like, oh, I've really been meaning to follow up with so and so, see how the dog's doing, see how their kids did in the soccer tournament, see how, did mom get out of the hospital yet? All right.
Another easy call is I love what you were talking about with the social and get your vendor list and just continuing to add to your vendor list. But the other thing, that we're taught a lot in classes is to find out about your client. Like, what do they like? What are their, what's their birthdays? What's their anniversary? What's their kid's name? What's their pet's name? What's their, favorite hobbies to do? Just a list of all those. So that's another easy call to make every day. What if you were building out your database and getting all that information about each of your past clients or prospects, future clients that you're talking to on a regular basis? Build their profile so that how can you, going back to EXPCon, shoot, I just went blank on his name, but the guy who was just talking about the extraordinary service, right? When you have all of that information about your client, how can you stand out with a client when you know every bit thing about their likes and their family and their pets and all of that?
And along with that, Kathy, I think just look for those things and make a note. I make notes when I'm talking to people, and they'll mention some event that's coming. Oh, you know what? Like it's a busy time right now. My daughter's getting married in 2 weeks. Hey, can you call me at the end of the month or something? Make a note of that. Obviously, and the first question you're going to ask is, "How was your daughter's wedding?" I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
or even just send them just a text like the day after. Hey, been thinking about you. Hope your daughter's wedding was awesome. Look forward to talking soon. Just a quick little note of some sort, or you see a post on Facebook. Their son just had a big night Friday night at the football game. Just make it, send the text. Not no real estate at all. You're just creating that rapport and that relationship. Like genuinely care about them and their family and what they're dealing with and what they're going through and their highs and their lows. And to have all that kind of stuff in there, you can just build such a good rapport with them. Well, there's no way they're not going to use you whenever that time is right and think about you when they hear a friend or a neighbor or something. It's like, you got to call up Kathy,
There's a cool app I like, and I use it a little bit, but you just reminded me of that. It's called Postagram. But like if somebody got a new puppy or something, you can grab a photo off their photo off of social media, and you drop it in and type a note, and it sends them a postcard, and it's glossy, and they cost about, including postage, it costs maybe like $1.89 or something. But people love them. They're real high quality. And I promise you, and and you're not saying, you know, your best realtor friend, you're just saying love Julie, right? But those I just love those as nice touches for, for a new puppy or a wedding or someone. I sent one recently to a friend who lost his 16-year-old cat, and there was a beautiful photo of him with his cat on Facebook, and so we sent him that postcard through this app. So just little things like that.
That's very cool. I like that.
All right. Well, I know we've gone a little over.
Totally
Julie,
good.
thank you
Good
again
stuff.
so much for being here. And remember, Julie Nelson is your Austin realtor. If you've got anybody making a move to Austin, just
There you
such
go.
good, valuable tips, Julie, that you gave, and so good. So thank you
you
so much for just coming and pouring into us today.
You bet. So happy to join you. And you helped me warm up for giving this presentation tomorrow in Austin.
So you're gonna go in there and crush it there too.
I'm gonna crush it in person. Well, it's
In
an
person,
in-person
yeah.
version of this. So,
Okay.
all right, my friends, nice to kind
you,
of
Julie.
meet all of you. Good to see you. It's the second time I've seen Jason this week, which is a
I don't
bonus.
know which one of y'all are the luckier. I'm gonna say Jason might be the luckier one there.
I don't know. Every time I'm on the phone with him, he pours into me, I swear. So
Yeah, he's awesome.
Guys, just a
Jason's
quick
awesome.
reminder, tomorrow at the same time, just that open mastermind collaboration. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about other stuff. Okay, we'll catch up on everything. So join us tomorrow, same time, same Zoom
time,
link. All right?
same link. Yep.
See you then. All right.
Thanks
All right.
again.
Guys, have
Bye,
a great
everybody.
day.
Thanks,
Thanks, everybody.
Julie. Appreciate
You
it.
bet.
Bye bye. Bye bye.